Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Brewery Bhavana out of Raleigh, North Carolina. This beer is called Manifest. It is an IPA brewed with Nelson Sauvin and Citra. It is 6.2 ABV. I believe this is pretty new and this just came out. That's why I snagged a can of it because I'd never seen it before. And on tap, it only had like a couple hundred ratings. So I haven't heard anything about this, so I'm gonna crack it open and see what we got here. Salud, the bottle shop in Charlotte, just got a bunch of their stuff recently. Not just like their canned clean stuff. They did get some bottles of their wild stuff also. So I got a nice little haul from them, which I appreciate. I don't think I've had a couple of their IPAs, but they've been in like festivals and stuff. I don't think I've actually done a review for them. For one of their IPAs, so we'll see. It pours a pretty hazy golden color with about 3 fingers worth of fluffy white head. Ooh, that smells nice. I'm trying to think of what that reminds me of. So I do get some like white grape character, which is reminiscent of. Reminiscent is probably not the right word, but it's attributable to the Nelson Sauvin. There's something in this that makes me like think of their house yeast too. Like, I don't know what it is. It's not, like, super funky like their mixed culture stuff, but there's just something in this that reminds me of their beer. I don't know what it is. I do get, like, a little bit of, like, crackery honey character. Yeah, like honey poured over oranges, if that makes sense. And almost like a vanilla character. I don't know. It's interesting, but it smells really nice. Yeah. The flavor has that same house yeast character that I'm getting. It's not a bad thing. I actually think it's a really good thing. It is this a little pithy. A little like sweet tarty candy flavor. Almost like some bubble gum too. But it is. It's like sweet and dry at the same time. I know which generally, like in wine terms, that doesn't make sense. It's oxymoronic, but for me, when I consider something dry, it means that it dries out your mouth, so it goes away very quickly. Which I think is also astringency is kind of really what that true term is. But it comes off as sweet, but it dries out so quickly. It doesn't have like a long-lasting sweet, like fruity, juicy character. It's more of that like pithy bubble gum, and then sweetness with it, and then it just goes away like that, and it finishes very dry. I wonder if they use like that Kvik yeast in this, because that kind of reminds me of that too. Like, something that I would get from Cinderlands, or it actually reminds me of, I was at Protagonist earlier today, and it reminds me of an IPA that they did. It has a little bit of that, like, perm hair salon character almost to it, too. Yeah, all of the IPAs I've had from these guys have been kind of weird, but also really good at the same time. They're very well balanced and nuanced, but if you want like the traditional super dank or super juicy IPA, that's really not what you're gonna get. I will say that by drinking this, I don't know that I would particularly know or pull out Citra in or Nelson Sauvin, other than that white wine character that I got in the aroma. It's honestly hard to describe it. It just has like that house smell of Brewery Bhavana beers, which is hard to describe really. But if you've had a bunch of them, you would understand that. Yeah, I don't know. This one to me is almost like I like it as a beer, but it's almost so like minerally and like bubblegummy that I think the yeast is just playing way too much of a role in this beer. The hops are not like, I mean, they're definitely there and you get some characters from them, but the yeast is more of a predominant flavor than the hops, which I just don't think makes sense for an IPA. Now, that's not to say that this isn't a good beer. I'll get right to it. On my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm going to give this a drink because I think it's really unique. And I like the flavor of it. But if I'm just comparing this to any hazy single IPA I've had, and if I really wanted like a good IPA, and that's specifically what I was looking for, would this be one of the first things that I would grab? Absolutely not. But if I wanted a nice, refreshing, kind of weird, off the wall, like yeast driven, hop forward beer, this would be one of the things I would grab for first. So on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm gonna say this is a buy, because it is. I think it's really tasty, but it's definitely not your traditional IPA, and I think it's mainly being driven by the yeast. Excuse me. So I guess take that as you will. If you're making a decision on whether you want to buy this or not, but for me, it's a really good beer, but it's not really on style completely for an IPA. So I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.